Hello, everyone. My name is Rose Simpson. I'm a librarian at the New Haven Free Public Library, and welcome to Meatless Monday. Today, we're going to learn about Blue Zone cooking and living. We have our creative in residence, Nadine Nelson, here, who's going to be teaching us. Can you tell us more about this?
Hi, my name is Nadine Nelson. I'm the chef, owner, and educator of Global Local Gourmet. We're an interactive culinary education company, and we specialize in experiential Epicurean events. So I am a trained educator, but also I am part of one of the members of the Blue Zones, although I'm a recovering Seventh-day Adventist. One of the groups of the Blue Zones is from Loma Linda, and they're from a religious, they're just like any other religion. Um, and a large group of them are in Loma Linda, California. They have Seventh-day Adventists all around the world. And I grew up Seventh-day Adventist. I grew up going to church in New Haven or Hamden, Connecticut, to Mount Zion Seventh-day Adventist Church. And one of the things that I love about growing up in that, although I am recovering, is learning about healthy food my whole life. And so being around vegans and vegetarians, because large portions of them are plant-based, and also their connection with nature. And that's part of the not only eating well with the Blue Zones, but what is a lifestyle is also being part of a faith community, whatever that might be. It can be religious, it can be spiritual, it can be just fraternal organization, but being connected to people, friends, and family is one of the components of longevity and a good life. And so a fulfilling life. So today I'm really happy to do the last of the series of Meatless Monday. We started off with world cuisines that eat plant-based. So, Rastafarians in Jamaica, people in the Mediterranean, Israel, people in India, Ethiopia, the Mediterranean. So we started with that, global cuisines, and then that have high percentages of people that are plant-based. And then we went to the plant-based pantry, and then now we're ending with people of the Blue Zones. And so there are 5 different areas, and I have a PowerPoint presentation that's going to go over the different foods, why these places and the people within them, why they live to over 100. So we'll go through the PowerPoint presentation, and then I have the majority of the stuff that I'm going to make already kind of prepped. And so we're going to do 5 different kind of bowls, because people like Buddha or grain bowls, and it kind of is in line with the food of these 5 different places that we can do one and make dressings and have different toppings that we can put on a variety of different grains, from farro to quinoa, brown rice, and whole wheat ramen. All right, so let us do the PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll go on to the cooking portion. And I am a freestyle cook, so we have recipes for you. And then in the packet that Rose has probably put in the chat, you can, that is open. And then also this PowerPoint presentation is also open. And you can go back to it whenever you want to refer to it. You can always ask me questions, email me if I'm not able to answer your questions in this very short period of time. All right. Thank you.
All right, one moment while I get the PowerPoint up. There we go.
The Blue Zones. Next slide. What are the Blue Zones? Blue Zones is a term used to describe parts of the world where people live the longest. Next slide, please. Dan Buettner Dr. Dan Butner teamed up with National Geographic and several researchers to observe each zone's characteristics. Once they were finished, they came up with a list of 9 characteristics each zone had in common. These characteristics are now called the Power 9. So as you can see from this map, there are 5 different places. You have Loma Linda, California. You have Costa Rica, Sardinia, Italy, Greece, and Okinawa, Japan. The Power 9. Next slide, please. The characteristics include moving actively, knowing your purpose, making time to de-stress, stop eating when your stomach is 80% full, diet including a variety of fruits and vegetables, drinking 1 glass of wine for women, 2 for men daily, having a support group, friends or family, being part of a community, putting loved ones first. Next slide, please. So you have, and you can't really see the plates, but like the Blue Zone diet, there's like beans for protein, plant-based olives, canola oil, herbs, spices, fish and poultry, vegetables, fruits and nuts, a big breakfast, moderate lunch, and small dinner. And then you have the standard American diet, also called the SAD diet, which is meat, butter, salt, red meat, processed food, small breakfast, moderate lunch, and big dinner, which is, leaves us like when we're most sedentary with food and not very good for us and our systems. Next slide, please. So you have a slide and hopefully that you can see it. And then you can always go back and see like, what are the different characteristics from Sardinia, Loma Linda, and Okinawa. What are some of the things that um, they all have in common? So a healthy social circle, eating nuts, being close to family, not smoking, plant heavy diet, constant moderate or physical activity, social engagement, legumes, beans, empowered women. I thought that was very interesting. That's very important that women are held in high regard. Sunshine, gardening. Um, and then you look at the different, when you look at the outlying sides of the different circles, no time or urgency, likability, turmeric, like for Okinawa, like, so being on your own flow and on your own place. And so those are things that like in American society, next slide, please, we don't really think about, like flow, like standard of living, like making sure that we spend time with friends, like our vacations are things that we live for as opposed to the way that we live. So here's the Power 9 and just another way to be able to see that personified in symbols and also words. Next slide. So you have Okinawa, Japan. And in Okinawa, the women live longer than anywhere else on the planet. Diet consists of plant-based, lots of tofu, very little fish, um, sweet potatoes, and turmeric. So you have an older woman cultivating seaweed. So seaweed is always something that I love to push in diets because it's something that's over abundant in our waters. And especially if you get it someplace where it's organic and you know that there's no chemicals, it's really, really good for you. The iodine, the iron, it's low in calorie, high in fiber. So you see eating lots of seaweed is part of the diet. Next slide, please. So the statistics for Okinawa is probably the most famous blue zone of the 5. This is simply for the fact that this is where most people have lived to 100 or beyond. It is also referred to the Hawaii of Japan. If you've ever been to Hawaii, they have a whole thing about hanging loose and just being so hospitable and also being so family oriented and people oriented and also having respect for the earth too. So Next slide. I don't know if you're Japan, Okinawa, Japan, other factors. Residents are big fans of ikagi, which is translates for a reason to being. So having a purpose. Their need for purpose leads their residents to embrace responsibility and take part of an active life. Several local gardens as a source of medicinal support, physical activity, and fresh vegetables. Residents in Okinawa also try to enjoy as much time as possible in the sun. This is so that they can absorb great amounts of vitamin D, and so elders can have optimum levels of vitamin D year round. That has been shown to be very helpful in regard to um, COVID and rising our immune system. Next slide, please. So this is the beauty of Okinawa. Next slide. What do they eat? Plant-based diet, lots of tofu, very little fish, sweet potatoes, turmeric, tumbu, squid, and octopus. There's tofu right there. Some people have their ideas about eating tofu. I eat it moderately. I think that if you eat it moderately, you have to think about for yourself, like, next slide. For yourself and your body. You know, if you can't have lots of estrogen, then you shouldn't eat tofu. So that's something that you need to think about. There's bitter lemon on the right-hand side. That's a gourd. You have octopus, and then you have sweet potato. Next slide. You have tea, matcha usually, and the whole ceremony around tea. Purple potatoes, flavonoids, carotenes, vitamin E, and lycopene. Bitter cucumbers or bitter melon lowers blood sugar and diabetes. Turmeric and jasmine tea potentially wards off cancer. Squid and octopus contain taurine to lower blood pressure and cholesterol. So Sardinia, Italy. Next slide, yeah. At least 200 of Sardinia's current 1.6 million population have reached 100. Average life expectancy is 81 years. Next slide. What do they eat? Plant-based diet, goat and sheep cheese, flatbread, sour bread, fava beans, tomatoes, almonds, drink coffee daily. Next slide. Benefits of their diet: goat and sheep cheese, higher in nutritional value, is easier to digest, lower cholesterol. And I could say for myself where some people are lactose intolerant, and you can become lactose intolerant as you become older. And I can definitely say that I get inflammation. But when I have goat cheese or sheep cheese, I'm able to digest that a lot better. So flatbread, high in fiber and complex carbohydrates, does not spike blood sugar, lowers the chance of diabetes. Tomatoes, rich source of tomatoes and potassium. Next slide, please. So you just have an example of milk and their breads. Next slide, please. Loma Linda, California. This is where they have Seventh-day Adventists. They outlive the average American by a decade. Death rate from cancer for males is 60%, lower than the average California male. Next slide, which I believe is a video.
Okay, I think I put audio on, but let me know if you can't hear this.
And while you're doing that, the 3 minutes I'll be prepping.
A gift of time.
I can
a
hear.
fitting name for a clock shop located in Loma Linda. People in this Inland Empire enclave, 70 miles east of LA, see more new days than practically any place else on the planet.
Hi.
Benita Welliver is 100, a spring chicken compared to her neighbor Betty Streisling.
I feel great.
Betty's 102. Lots of communities have centenarians, but Loma Linda is a so-called blue zone, designated by National Geographic as one of the 5 longest living communities in the world. The average life expectancy here is anything but average.
Mine would be about 89 years.
Dr. Brian Bull is a pathologist, blood researcher, and former dean of the Loma Linda University Medical School.
Now, being male automatically shortens my lifespan by about 2 years. Nothing I can do about that.
But in Loma Linda, the average man makes it to 89, compared to the national average for men, which is just 78. The average woman here lives to 91. That's huge.
It is huge because for the females in the general population, it's about 81 years.
But Loma Linda is not a general population community. There are different values and a different lifestyle here. A lifestyle based around the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We're thankful our Heavenly Father for this new day, for this good food. When it became obvious that Adventists were living a lot longer, even the federal government got curious as to why this might be the case.
Here, the body is a temple. A typical Loma Linda breakfast isn't bacon and eggs. It's hot oatmeal or granola, spiked with flaxseed, nuts, and plenty of berries. This spin class at the local fitness center is as fierce as it gets, and the regular riders are all over 60.
I'm 65.
63. 75 years old.
Dr. Bull says fitness, science, religion, they all work together in his hometown. Among Adventists,
Science has always been looked upon with approval.
but never at the expense of being observant. Come here any Saturday, the labs are quiet, local businesses are closed, and you won't find much work going on, but you will find the chapel full.
Saturday, which is the Sabbath, we go to church, meet with friends and family.
Attention turns away from making a living. Instead,
More important things, where is your life going? Are you doing what you want to do?
the science hasn't proven whether observing the Sabbath on its own helps you live longer. But
That wouldn't be too surprising because I don't think the human organism is designed to work 7 days a week.
I had dark hair then.
Benita has no doubt following Adventist guidelines has contributed to her longevity, even if it means occasionally breaking the rules.
Like today, I had to have a bite of something sweet, and then I felt like I became sweeter myself in disposition.
Sweetness, too, may be a key to longevity, something Dr. Bull encourages in his 11-year-old granddaughter.
We're here to serve God, and we serve God best by serving our fellow man.
Which brings us to something universal among all the world's longest living communities.
Viewing your life as meaningful.
There's a lot to do if you're willing to do it.
Thank you. So you see Loma Linda, California. Next slide. Loma Linda, California. Residents in Loma Linda follow a biblical diet focused on grains, fruits, nuts, vegetables, and they only drink water. They don't only drink water, but mostly drink water. And I have to say that I drink mostly water all the time. I usually only have 1 cup of coffee or tea in the morning. I have very little juice. I never have juice usually every day or all. I just usually drink water. Some of all eat small amounts of meat. Many are vegan or vegetarian. Many of them, make I have seitan here. And I grew up seeing people make seitan, which is made with flour and taking the gluten out. And there's like tempeh. There are also against all kinds of sugar unless it's from fruit, dates, or figs. Their most popular foods are avocados, salmon, nuts, beans, oatmeal, whole wheat bread, and soy milk. And so in regard to being biblical, the Seventh-day Adventist diet is similar to if someone was Orthodox Jewish. And so we don't necessarily eat pork, shrimp, things, fish that have no scales. I grew up in a household, my mom's household was not Seventh-day Adventist, our personal household. I grew up going to church with my mom's closest sister, and then my stepfather's aunt, that was his mother figure that he grew up with. And so I grew up going to church or Sabbath school and stuff like that on Saturdays. That's when you worship. And then you not only do you go to church, which lasts a long time on Saturdays, usually like 2-3 hours, but you have Sunday or Sabbath school in the morning. And then you have this thing called Pathfinders, where you would do things like learn how to cook. It was like kind of the religious version of Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts. And then also in the summertime, we would go to, you have different campsites all around. And so I grew up in Toronto for the first 10 years of my life. And then we go to Ontario, where you would go to camp meeting and listen to all religious stuff, which I never was into. But I was always into like going horseback riding or swimming every day and fishing and doing all that kind of stuff, because they're totally into being connected with nature. So even when I moved to the United States in the summertime, they have campsites all in different states, where you go and you go practice your religion and nature, which I love. Next slide. What do you eat? Water instead of soda, nuts instead of stacks. They away from cigarettes and alcohol, mostly Mediterranean diet, tomatoes, vegetarian diet. And so what the Seventh-day Adventist Church is one of the highest churches, just like Mormons, in recruiting people. So I would say that Mediterranean diet, I'm Jamaican, they're big in the Caribbean, Africa, all around the world. And so just the notion of eating plant-based in whatever culture you are, that's what they're all about. So benefits of your diet: nuts to prevent health, vegetarian diet, higher consumption of fiber, folic acid, vitamins, vitamin C, E, magnesium, unsaturated fat, and countless photochemicals. Tomatoes, lower chance of getting ovarian prostate cancer. Next slide. And so you have Loma Linda, and you have people exercising, moving, enjoying their life. Residents in Loma Linda are known to be active in their church, a church that encourages a healthy lifestyle that influences them greatly. Research has found that Adventists who follow their religious teachings have lived up to 10 years longer. Next slide. And I will just say that it's very intergenerational, which I like. You're also responsible for giving back and being a steward, understanding that you should tithe and do volunteer service. So I think that that also is part of not only being together, but also making your life enriched and making you feel good and live longer. Ikaria, Greece. Next slide. Oh, you have it right there. Yeah. Their diet is mainly focused on promoting mental and physical health. The island focuses mainly on potatoes, goat milk, honey, legumes, wild greens, fruit, and small amounts of fish. When doing research, most thought they would make an exception for goat meat since it's a large part of the Greek culture, but they only eat goat meat on very special occasions. And goat meat is the leanest dark meat that there is. Another factor has been observed is the fact that residents take afternoon naps daily. After Dr. Brutner visited the island, Dr. Christina, a cardiologist at Athens University, visited the island for herself. It's there she found that taking afternoon nap lowers the risk of heart disease by 40%. Next. Slide, please. So Sardinia, residents here mostly eat goat's milk and sheep's cheese, on average eating about 15 pounds of cheese in a year. They also eat a variety of carbs, including flatbreads, sourdoughs, and barley. I feel like I didn't put this in the other one, so I'm gonna just skip this one. I didn't move that, and I apologize. Chilling out, napping. Next slide. Then I So when Dr. Brutner went to Sardinia, because I don't know if I'm getting mixed up, so I apologize, but he interviewed several residents, and during their interview, many locals said that their lifestyle consisted of clean air, wine, and the fact that they make love every Sunday. I thought that that was really cool. Nicoya, Costa Rica, and then we have a video.
Talk about the real reason that Maria is here with us. It's a special series called Eating to 100 Today.
Yeah, she's revealing the secrets to a long and healthy life from those so-called blue zones. There are 5 places that are home to the longest living populations. On Tuesday, Maria, you took us to Greece.
That's right.
This morning, we're heading to a special corner of Costa Rica.
Yes, it was really fun. And so what I found in Costa Rica was a lot of fresh and healthy food and some colorful characters, including a frisky 100-year-old cowboy.
Dan Buettner is on a mission to capture a way of eating that's disappearing.
Arguably the greatest diet ever invented by humans.
I've joined the National Geographic explorer and author on Costa Rica's Nicoya Peninsula, famous for beautiful sandy beaches and exotic wildlife. But we're here to meet some of Nicoya's most remarkable residents, the humans that seem to defy the limits of age.
There's only about 1 in 4,000 people make it to 100 in America. In this area here, you have about 1 in about 250. We're going to see a very special centenarian. He doesn't exercise. He doesn't take supplements. He drinks a little bit. He loves the ladies.
Is this him?
There he is, yeah. He's a cool dude.
I'm here to learn all your secrets.
Meet Jose Bonifacio, 100 years old and still jumping on his horse every morning.
He's one of the great cowboys, Guanacaste. They're famous for being tough. If you find a centenarian in America, most of the time they're never as sharp as he is. He has a certain charm to him. ¿Cuántas novias? I asked him how many girlfriends he's had. He can't count them all.
Maybe that's the secret to being 100.
But it turns out the real reason behind Jose's incredible staying power may not be so sexy.
In America, this would be viewed as a rather unhealthy breakfast. Rice, beans, tortillas.
It's way better for you than you think. This is the whole corn that's been ground up. The average American could eat a cup of beans a day. It would add 4 years to their life expectancy. They do it every day for an entire life.
A morning ritual that's washed down with a cup of black coffee.
Over the centuries and the millennia, these people have learned how to make healthy food taste good.
In a nearby town famous for its tortillas, they even built a statue honoring the women who make them.
That's the thing of beauty.
This is why she's famous here.
Yeah, people come from villages around. She'll cook 140 of these a day. And she's sold about 50 cents. You can do it all by memory. She's taking the ashes from the woman.
What you gonna do with that?
Soak in the corn. This is what makes the corn healthy.
How can eating ash be good?
They don't exactly eat the ash. They use the ash to remove the hull of the corn, to release the niacin.
That niacin is a B vitamin that reduces cholesterol and the risk of heart attacks.
This takes the place of going to the gym right here.
It's hard work that requires a lot of skill.
Why doesn't it come off? Oh my God, look!
They're all laughing at you.
I know, they should.
Turns out the younger generations here aren't picking this up either.
Younger women won't know these recipes. If you notice, the people we interacted with are all 60, 70 years old. As you saw this morning, we drove by fast food restaurants, burgers and fries and sodas. The diet that got people to live to 100 is being completely overtaken by the standard American diet, like a tsunami washing away, and I want to capture it before it's gone.
A recipe for longevity that's kept a 100-year-old cowboy riding tall in the saddle.
He says, I'm poor, but I have money. I'm sad, but I live happy. But in the pursuit of beautiful women, that's what really kills me. So it's basically a big compliment. He loves you.
Oh, he does.
Frisky is right.
He's frisky. And tomorrow we're heading to the Blue Zones that's right here in the United States, Loma Linda, California, where a unique community may have just found the Fountain of Youth, and they're really interesting as well. But
So
he's
cool.
cute.
It's really cool.
Right?
It is cool.
I take away beans.
Yeah.
A cup of beans.
Yes,
I take
beans,
away that
greens.
tortilla.
Yeah.
I want that tortilla.
By the way, all those
Good.
recipes, if you're wondering, they're on today.com in case you want to go ahead and clickety-clack.
Okay.
With this Dan
Eat 'em up.
Buettner is fascinating.
Yes, he's a terrific guy, and he's the one that actually put all these recipes together, and he's traveling all over because he was saying that so many fast food restaurants are coming into these areas, and these recipes will be lost, and in 10 years there won't be Blue Zones anymore.
Wow.
All right, Maria, thank you very much.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our
Nicoya, Costa Rica residents have a saying, put an egg on it. Most meals are finished by placing an egg on top of a source of protein. Their diet consists of the three sisters, beans, corn, and squash. Many meals involve their ingredients and maybe also papayas, yams, bananas, and peach palms. Several residents also are vegan or vegetarian. Next slide, please. This is in Costa Rica. Kids enjoying themselves. Next slide. Residents try to focus on family and plan de vida, or reason to live. They strive to keep purpose in their life. Also, a lot of their social engagements include family or friends. Next slide. They also drink calcium and magnesium-rich water. They help ward off disease and helps promote strong bones. Next slide. Next slide. Other secrets to the Blue Zones: low stress, belong to a community, committed to their families, daily, regular physical exercise that is incorporated into their daily lives. Next slide. Secret 5, belong. Add 4 to 14 years to your life. Belong to a faith-based community. Benefits are seen if non-denominational, non-religious communities share an ideal, connecting them together, improve mental and physical health. Loma Linda Seventh-day Adventists practice sacred time each week. Icaria Greeks, Orthodox Christians have ingrained in traditions. Next slide. I believe with all the research that has been conducted, applying Blue Zones around the world can change lives for the better, helping people live healthier and longer. Next slide. What can we learn? Eat whole, healthy foods, lots of plants, avoid processed packaged food, exercise regularly and enjoy it, value and establish social connections, spend more time with family, set up a good environment at home, fill it up with healthy foods rather than junk. And then you have a bibliography for you to refer to for yourself. All right, so now we're going to cook. And then Soleil, can you bring this over here? Can you make it so you can, so they can see? I'm going to show them the stuff that I prepared. So I've prepared a bunch of different things, and I will show you in a second, and we're going to make a bunch of different things. They're kind of not like, as I said, like freestyle. So, so I have recipes on there, but especially for people who live to 100, they're not following a recipe. So I'm making Buddha bowls, and I have a list of ingredients. And if you have whatever you have, I want you to feel about flexibility. And it's more about learning like what you can do with a variety of ingredients than a set of recipes, but there are a set of recipes that are there for you. All right, so I have some cilantro. What? Can they see this? Can they see right here? Okay. Yep. All right, so I'm making mise en place. And so mise en place is like making a whole bunch of things. Can you bring those bowls over here for me, please? So I have asparagus, and on that packet, you'll see like a list of different ingredients for the different cultures. So I have eggplant, I have roasted cauliflower. And when you roast something, it's like 370 to 425, 450. You know, you have to watch it. I have parsnips, I have beets, I cut up beets, that's one whole roasted beets. I have onions, carrots, Brussels sprouts, mushrooms, roasted peppers. So that's all there, right? So can you take this away? Well, I'm gonna put it next to me actually. Then we have whole wheat ramen, and I couldn't find my soba noodles, but I would have used soba noodles. But this is whole wheat ramen that's already prepared. That is going to be for the Okinawa bowl. Then I have farro, which will be for the Sardinian bowl. And farro is high fiber grain. And it's really probably better for, you know, digestible, like also to even out your sugar, and for diabetes, just like quinoa. So it's one of those type of high fiber, high protein type of grain. So we'll use that for our Sardinia bowl. This is a multi-grain bowl that we will use for the Greek bowl. Can you give me the other two ones? Where are they? Thank you. We have rice and peas. We have brown rice and gunga peas or pigeon peas. That's going to be for the Costa Rican bowl. And then we have rice. No, well, yeah. That's gonna be for the Costa Rican bowl. And this is gonna be for the last bowl. Which bowl did I not say? Rose, do you remember? It's 5, but I don't remember which one I said for which. We're gonna see. We'll see. We'll get to it. All right. So what I'll make right now, since I'm right over here, is for the Costa Rican bowl. Can you give me the one with the rice and beans, Soleil? I'm gonna make a salsa, and I just want to show you how to make a salsa really. So we're gonna do like beans. I'm gonna refry them over there, but we're gonna make a really quick salsa because that's always easy to make. That is roasted tomatoes, cilantro, some garlic, some scallion, a little bit of onion, and then we'll get some tomato juice going. And then you just mix that, but that will be like a topping for that. And then I'm going to do a whole bunch of dressings, but I want to get the seitan and some of these things a little bit of browning on them. So seitan, if you, especially when you season it, it doesn't have a lot of flavor. So you can season it, and it's one of those things that tastes really good because it just soaks up flavor. And the same thing with we have fried tofu also. So we're gonna fry all of these things up, and we have tempeh. And so a lot of people don't like tempeh, but if you season it and then crisp it up, I'm gonna have my daughter do that. So like, can you do that for me? Thank you. Go in the other one because I'm gonna do the beans over there. So I'm gonna do the dressings really fast. Right here. Bring that over here. Yep. And then if you can just cut up the tempeh. Thank you. All right, so I have dressings. So this is right here, passion fruit juice. And I have the formula for dressings there for you. So you can look at that. I have done a little bit of garlic. I have a little bit of olive oil. This is going to be for the Costa Rican one. I'm going to put a little bit of scallion. I'm going to move that over to the side and build on each one. So this is for the Okinawa. I have some miso inside here. I have a little bit of Korean paste. I know that it's not Japanese, but that's what I chose to put in there. Because, you know, there's a tenuous history between Japan and Korea. This is some ramp vinegar that I made from last year, and it's ramp season. So I just thought I would use it. You can use red wine vinegar, whatever you want. I'm gonna move that over to the side a little bit. And then we're gonna just shake these. I'm gonna add to them. We can put some salt and pepper and stuff. Here is, I'm doing a lot. So this is for the Costa Rican. This is sofrito, actually. And then I'm going to put lemon juice. So like, can I have that knife for a second? Yes. Oh, you know what? The passion fruit one was the Loma Linda one. So here, this is lemon juice, and sofrito. This is sofrito is onion, pepper, garlic, cilantro that's put in a blender, and you can buy it or you can make your own. But it makes a really great dressing. And I have some olive oil. So it has everything already in there, and I don't even have to probably put any salt in there because in the sofrito, there's a little bit. Yeah, saute. You don't have to do, just do a little bit of each because you see how small the balls are? The balls, the bowls. So let me taste that. Yep. So I would show people easy dressings. This is for Greece. This is a little tahini, and it's actually hummus, actually. So I'll use the other side of this lemon juice, and I have my hands catching the seeds. I'm going to get a little bit of parsley. I have a little bit of curly parsley, and I'll just chop this up a little bit. And if I was on camera and I was not stuck for time, I would do that a little finer. And you could also do it inside the food processor and do it bigger. So it's a little bit smoother. But this is going to be a thicker dressing, see, a creamier, but it's very healthy. So this is for the Greek. Well, huh? Yeah, of course. And I have one more. And I will do that in a second. So I'm going to take off my my camera for a second, and we're going to move over to stove. So I can make some of these refried greens, and then I will put together all these bowls for you. And I know that it's not linear. I'm not the most linear person. Is there any questions that people have? Cooking is not linear usually.
I'm also watching the comments on Facebook. So if anyone's watching on Facebook and has questions or comments, post them in the comments and I'll read them out.
Do you want to bring that over here, Soleil, so people can see, yeah, yours and then mine too? So we're going to bring over the overhead. And so I'm just going to saute some onions and make some really easy refried beans. And these are from some black eyed peas that I boiled this weekend. And so this is for the Costa Rican bowl. And we're going to do like the Three Sisters. So have some squash that's roasted and these refried beans, and then some salsa that we just made. You want to get out as much flavor as possible. So you want to get these nice and brown, especially when you're not using meats or eating with meat. You want to coax out the flavor of things as much as possible. And caramelizing the onions does that. My daughter over here on the other side of the stove is browning seitan, tofu, and tempeh. She looks so excited to be doing it also. Oh. And here I have my black eyed peas. And so black eyed peas would not be typical of Costa Rica, but I'm trying to show people use what you have, whatever beans you have. And so I have on the table that I'll show people with the time that we have at the end, like some of like pantry staples that you can have for a diet of longevity. So we're just gonna let this simmer and melt together a little bit more. I'm gonna turn it down and let it lose some of its liquid. And then I also have some corn to accompany it. That I'm going to put in something else, actually. So I like to have a lot of my food separated as much as possible. So I'm gonna bring the, so like, can you bring this over here, actually? So can you bring that over here? Should I move this? And then bring that, yeah. So people can see me a little bit better. Thank you. And then if you can bring some of the, on a plate, some of that all that tofu and stuff, so that I can start assembling so people can see. And bring over the overhead, I guess. All right, so I'm going to decorate. Can you see that, Rose?
Kinda.
Kinda. So like, can you bring the overhead over here and take the end, please?
Yeah, that's clear.
So I have a bunch of roasted vegetables. So we're gonna like just decorate different things as using the vegetables. And I'm like freestyling here. So this is the Greek. Let me do the Italian. Let me do the Italian because we know that what this is. And so I'm gonna put on the Italian some asparagus. Right here, I have, watch out for the beans, sweetie. We have some tomatoes, roasted tomatoes. I have some artichokes. Some olives. We can put some peppers, put a little bit of yellow. I like color in my food, so thinking about color. And then we'll add some beans on here also. We'll add I have a little bit of mozzarella salad that I made this weekend, so I'll put a little bit of that on there. Soleil. That would not have been good. I just almost put all of that on the ground. I have a lot going on. So I will add to that in a second, but I'm gonna move some stuff around. So we have can you see this, Rose? I wanna make sure.
Yep.
All right. So here we have some whole wheat soba noodles, and I just dressed them in sesame oil so that they would separate. Can you turn that off, Soleil? Turn that off, please. All right, so I'll put some scallions on here. I'll put a little bit of cilantro. With the roasted vegetables, I'll put some carrots, a little bit of onion, some mushroom. I also have dried shiitake mushroom. I have roasted Brussels sprouts. We can put some, is it spring? If you had some peas, edamame. I'm putting some asparagus. And I also have some roasted parsnips to add to some nice sweetness, right? So that's another bowl right there. So like, can you get the cover right there? The cover on the floor. May please? The cover. Okay. Thank you. Also, like, turn that off, please. Turn that off. Thank you. So I'm gonna do tempeh on here. This is the Costa Rican bowl. So I'm gonna do some tempeh. I'm gonna do the salsa that I just made. Can you pass those beans, Soleil, for me, please? Beans, right there, please. Thank you. I have some olives. Some green olives. Bring it closer so they can see. I have the black eyed peas. And then I can put some peppers on there. And I have some summer squash. So we have summer squash, and then I did not heat up my corn, but I would heat up some corn, and this would be the Three Sisters with some tempeh. All right. And then you would just put the dressings on here, and you have a delicious and fulfilled bowl. I have the 7-Day Adventist bowl, Loma Linda. And this is like kind of just gonna be like a everything bowl, but I put black eyed pea, not black eyed peas, gunga peas and brown rice. That's what we had yesterday. And being that I'm 7-Day Adventist, it's like we're gonna do Caribbean, Mediterranean, I guess. We'll put some olives on here, different mixture of olives. You can have some carrots. Some onion. We'll put some cauliflower. And then you can put your different seasonings on here. I did not season the vegetables because I want them to be equal opportunity for what I was doing. But you can totally season up vegetables. And then, you know what? I'll put some tofu right there. And then, what time is it, Soleil?
You got about 10 minutes.
All right, cool. All right, so this is the Greek one. And I'll put some more in a second. So tomatoes, some peppers, some eggplant, some yellow peppers. We can put some cauliflower in here. If you had some zucchini, you could put that in there too. You could also, I have some fennel. I'll cut up some fennel to put in here. You can put fresh and roasted vegetables. It depends on what you like. So if you want to put like a tomato and cucumber salad, a fresh cucumber salad, you could put that. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of the fennel. I love fennel. It kind of tastes like fresh licorice. But it's really good for you, and it's something that they eat in Italy and the Mediterranean and Greece. all the time. So that adds a nice little flavor to the bowl, all right? And then since we didn't use the seitan, we'll put seitan on here. And kind of defeats the purpose if you put feta cheese, but you could put feta cheese on there also. I did not make one dressing, and that was the Italian dressing. And the Italian dressing can be some of the ramp, vinegar. I have still a little bit of not olive oil, of garlic right here. And a little bit of onion too. Sorry. I'll put some oil. I had hearts of palm, for instance, to put in the Costa Rican. Oh, I thought that was olive oil, and that was passion fruit juice. So that was a wash. So it's a different dressing. You see how we're just so flexible right here. So this is an Asian one, so I will put that dressing on there so you can see here. I like using them in these little small mason jars because you can shake them and make them thick and creamy. And also, Silly, can you pass me a clean spoon over there, please? Thank you. So some of the miso didn't dissolve, so you just want to mix it around. And that's where using it in a blender or in the food processor helps. But I also could shake it some more. Right, so then you just put that on here. And you can do this warm, where you could just do a vegan broth. But I want to show people that, you know, you can do traditional recipes, and then you can also do interpretation of recipes also too, using the ingredients from the pantry. So I have, for instance, some shrimp that mostly they're plant-based, but some of the people, they're from the sea, so they do eat some shrimp. So, and shrimp is very low in calorie, and not necessarily bad for you if you don't have high cholesterol. So I just wanted to add that to show people that too. Do people have any questions? I'm going to show my face now.
Nothing coming up so far.
So, okay, I will take this off and show people some of the different things that we have here. We have feta cheese. We have some fonio, which is a high fiber grain, and it's a super grain. And it's like from the West Africa. We have lentils. We have all different types of beans, because all these cultures, they eat a lot of beans. And then a bunch of different spices to add flavor. Here's miso. To add flavor to your food and to help you with the dressings. Like I have this, like we could add this on top of our little ramen bowl, which has seaweed, for instance. My daughter is going to love this. So you could also make these in jars and then have them throughout the week. But the whole idea is to get ideas from these cultures, whether it's like adding more beans, you know, eating more, you know, soy products or less meat. and more mushrooms, eating high fiber, less sugar, drinking more water. Those ideas, some people might be watching and you might be plant-based and vegan. A lot of people that watch me, just like myself, I am not slowly plant-based. But I like to encourage people to eat as much vegetables as possible and to make sure that their plate is at least half plant-based, which is also helpful. And just, we didn't really talk a lot about the lifestyle, but it's not about going necessarily to church if you don't believe in a higher power, no matter what that is. It's like, connecting with nature, connecting, I always say God is within you, but also connecting with people. We've been during COVID and very isolated. However, there's lots of people who have family meetings every week on Zoom, people who are in fraternities or sororities or part of a community garden, like try and stay connected. Those are the things that, isolation is not, we're not meant to be isolated. It's great to be alone. It's great to be able to feel great about being by yourself, but you also need to feel connected too. And so, I hope these are some of the things that you have learned and can inspire you to especially go to ethnic markets. I love to go to the Asian market, to go to the Caribbean market. To talk to people, but to also buy a lot of these ingredients that are inexpensive when you go there, and a way in which to live a healthful lifestyle. It's been great doing this 3-part series. It is on the library's Facebook page for you to be able to see. This Wednesday, I have Co-Create, and I'll be speaking with Martha Lewis, who is a New Haven resident. She is based in New Haven and also in France and is a curator. And we'll be talking about art and probably her new show at the Institute Library. It's been fun to make these 5 bowls with you. It's gonna be even better to eat them. I look forward to eating them even more. So if you have any questions ever, please feel free to email me, contact me through Global Local Gourmet. We have 2 more months of programming as creative in residence, and I look forward to wowing you and coming up with some good things. I don't know what I'm going to be doing food related this month. I'll probably, in one of my co-creates, do some cooking. But definitely in June, I'll come back doing some cooking. And if you want to connect with me on Facebook, you can feel free to do so, Nadine Nelson or Global Local Gourmet, where I share a lot of what I'm doing, especially this spring, where I'll be foraging and doing a lot with lilacs and all the different things that are out there for us to be able to use and create wonderful things. It's been great to be with you. Thank you, Rose. It's 8:15. Bye.
Good night.
Delicious blessings. Bye. Live long.